So, what happened at the end of Ozark? Who did Jonah shoot? Some of you feel the obvious answer is Mel. I don't think it is. But first off, this show is so well written. I can't wait to share my observations with you and to hear your own thoughts down below. All right, so we all know that Jonah is an excellent shot from earlier in the show's run, and he's been wanting to shoot someone for a while now. In fact, structurally, writing-wise, the show has done a phenomenal job of setting up Jonah to be the one who fires the final shot in the show. But why did he close his eyes? Why did they show that? I even went back to look to see if there was some kind of shooting lesson he'd received, because someone had taught him to shoot during the course of the show. No, I believe that he closes his eyes because he's making a decision in that moment. I think he realizes that he's at a fork in the road that is his life. To become his parents, Jonah and Charlotte have always been presented in the show as mini Marty and Wendy. I think that's how Marty and Wendy see them. Or to break off in support of Ruth and his uncle Ben, themselves a couple, who Jonah has clearly identified with more. In fact, that's why he moved out of his parents' home in support of them. Already kind of going off on a different path. I think business-wise, like Marty and Wendy, the show intentionally left it open-ended to create a cliffhanger that kind of holds the fandom hostage, and to some degree, Netflix, to bring Ozark back to revisit it for another couple of episodes at some point in the future. I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm not saying even in a year or so from now. But maybe 3 or 4 or even 5 years, I could see Ozark returning. I think that the show definitely left itself in a position to be able to do that, a strong position. And that, again, I think is a business decision. Because I think it did not give a very satisfying ending. And it didn't, I don't think it's the open-endedness. I think it's leaving the birds alive, leaving them unpunished, or not being sure if they were punished. I don't think you can leave it here. And again, I believe the show is so well written that must be intentional. But I suspect, as I know some of you do as well, that Jonah actually shot Wendy. After the car accident, he was the only one in the family who didn't go in for a group hug. I double-checked, in fact, to make sure that was true, and it is. He hung back. And that was, of course, right after Wendy made fun of him in the car for putting that money he and Charlotte found into the hotel Bible for someone to find. And I think that just, again, underscores how, particularly in Jonah's eyes, how horrible she is. Jonah thinks his mother, in my opinion, I believe this to be the case, he thinks his mother is pure evil and that it's only a matter of time before she takes him out to further her own gains. I don't think that Wendy believes that. We'll talk about Wendy and how much she cares about her children. I think her children are actually her only weakness, which is why it's so poetic that one of them would be the one to take her down, or the only one who could. But I think that Jonah feels at some point Wendy will come up with a way that it's okay. She'll rationalize getting rid of him. Because as he said, if she could do it to her own brother, to Ben, who we so tragically saw his final moments where, of course, he made it all about Wendy and forgiving her. His last words, "Oh, this is a dream." I actually kind of felt for his executioner at that point. I mean, I think Ben really made that one hurt. But I think, Jonah feels if she could do it to Ben, she could do it to anybody. And I think that's what having her do that to Ben was supposed to illustrate. And I think the writers probably planned from that moment that this was going to break Jonah off from the family. So, I truly believe he shot Wendy and wiped that weird smile off of Marty's face that some of you felt was out of character. And it did seem out of character, but I think the whole point of Season 4, Part 2 is that it's actually not out of character. I think us Marty fans had to accept some hard truths about him in the finale of this show. The lengths that Marty goes for Wendy when everybody is telling him it's too far, even his own children, even when he's pushed past the breaking point, as we see with that traffic fight, which was incredible. That was incredible. Marty's Team Wendy. He even ends up running the cartel temporarily to keep her plan in motion, having that lieutenant killed. Again, since as I pointed out in my non-spoiler review, the whole show started because Marty was upset and distracted that she was having an affair. And part of what motivated Marty to work for the drug cartel was that the cartel made sure that his family stayed together by killing Wendy's lover. Marty's not a leader. He can make things happen, but he lacks vision. Wendy provides that vision, and she allows him to be more independent than anyone else would. Make no mistake, she's the boss, but I think he can feel that he is the number 2. Whereas in any other organization, he's just a clerk. He's just a fixer. So I think he likes being the vice president of the Byrd Foundation rather than just, some pencil pusher for other criminals. So, and also bottom line, I have to tell you, I think they're both sociopaths. Marty's just better at hiding it, as Ruth points out. And I think that's why everyone else says Wendy's hard to love. Marty loves her because I think they're both devoid of the same human emotion. It's a tough pill to swallow for those of us who are Marty fans, but I respect the show for going there. I think Marty's willingness to run the cartel and to have that man killed, to directly order it, proves who he really is. But also how he rationalizes things. He feels that, I ran the cartel like a company, and I hip-pocketed information for us to use to give to the FBI if we need it. That makes this all okay. And you're like, no, it doesn't, Marty, because you're still, you're not even trying to help the FBI, you're still trying to help yourself. We'll talk more about the gray zone that the Byrds occupy a little later on in this spoiler review, but it's, I think, the whole point of the show. But first, let's talk about Ruth. And I agree, it's a huge bummer that she didn't make it out of this show alive. But it's brilliant writing that she didn't, and again, I think it's poetic. First off, she couldn't escape the Langmore curse, which makes not only seeing her cousin's ghost throughout the final episodes, but even that one scene where she saw her whole family, and they were all dead except for her. And I think she should have realized, what doesn't fit here? The fact that she's still alive. And, of course, that would soon be rectified. It's like Langmore heaven. It was really, really, again, as I said, poetic. Even after getting her record cleared and finally getting her house in order, that was so great. She was finally on the right path. But that's the point. Again, a fork in the road. And little did Ruth know that episode 8 was her fork in the road. Now, the line that I was telling you about actually didn't happen during that episode. I'm sorry. But it's a little later on, but it was when Frank Cosgrove Jr., I was so rooting for the two of them to get together, but it's when Frank Cosgrove Jr. tells Ruth that he never figured her for a junior Darlene, but instead a junior Marty. And in episode 8, that was the choice she was making, the path of Darlene or the path of Marty. And she chose the path of Darlene in episode 8. She killed someone just like Darlene blew people away when she was upset with them. She ignored Marty's advice to seek a different kind of vengeance down the line. As they say, revenge is a dish best served cold, but Ruth wanted hers piping hot. She couldn't wait to down that dish, and it's what did her in. Because she didn't appreciate that the Mexican drug cartel, no matter who runs it, is an unstoppable force. No one can outgun them, which is something Darlene herself learned. So after episode 8, and Ruth finally starts to think like Marty and Wendy. In fact, she takes plays directly from their playbook, and she does it beautifully. She is a junior Marty and Wendy, but it's too late. She already made. She went too far down the Darlene path by killing Javi, and she gets killed by the cartel. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I guess maybe you have to wonder, is Jonah going to make the same mistake? That makes it even more beautiful now that I think about it. All right, now as for the cartel, I was shocked it took Marty so long to realize it was the sister trying to kill Omar. I realized it immediately, even before hearing that there were some Mexican lawyers lobbying to keep him on the SDN list so that he couldn't be extradited. That made it obvious. But I was like, she's sure asking a lot of questions about her brother and how you're going to get him back here, maybe. And also, that's her son. Her son was killed. I don't really feel there's any coming back from that. So, and also, the whole thing with Marty and not realizing that it was the sister goes to Wendy's point that Marty never seems to realize how far people will go. Probably because he's so devoid of emotion himself. He's a sociopath. Wendy, I think, doesn't have that emotion either, but she understands it. But Marty underestimated Ruth, he underestimated Camila, and he underestimated Wendy even. Because he's not someone, again, who makes moves, he's someone who facilitates moves. Wendy is truly despicable in these final episodes, truly an unstoppable force of nature herself, which is maybe why Omar always liked her, because he saw a bit of himself in her. But here's where she differs from them and other anti-hero characters that have been popular. Because you might be like, why isn't Wendy more popular as a character? Well, it's because she has no conscience. She has no moral guide, even a skewed one. As Ruth said, she's a predator that must kill to dominate. And she has that cold look of a velociraptor or a shark. And I think that, you can't imagine a world where you're on Team Wendy, because there is no Team Wendy. Team Wendy is ultimately just Wendy. And so that's why I think the character is not popular. She just gives you no reason to like her. Her only weakness really is her children, one that her father almost successfully uses against her until Wendy uses Ruth to shut him down. She makes that happen. And that's why Jonah is the only one who can kill her, as I said, because it's her child and it's her blind spot. I'd also like to add that the way that Wendy's father was exposed slowly over time, the more he drank, to be a mean, hateful, misogynistic drunk was brilliant. And I loved that slow reveal when he was talking to Ruth outside the motel. That was just great when he's like, talking about women and the horrible things that he said. That was incredible. I also thought Javi had some fantastic moments in his final episode, episode 8. He made the most of it. I thought him giving his business school dean that choice was brilliant. $2 million with my name on a building, or $2 million anonymous, but I get to beat the crap out of you. That guy never should have asked him for a donation. He should have realized how much he defended him back in the day. But also, it was so incredible to see Ruth take him out thanks to his own hubris. No guards? What was he, nuts? I think it's because he was trying to be like Marty and Wendy. That's why he went to business school. He wanted to have one foot in both worlds, which is maybe why he disliked them so much, because he wanted to be them. But he didn't realize that I think he wanted to be the drug lord because he saw the glamour of his uncle's job. I think he wanted that too much. I think that, again, it's hubris. Wendy and Marty are perfectly fine being the silent winners. They don't care if no one ever knows that they won. All they care about is that they did. And that's another thing I think that make Wendy and Marty so successful and so dangerous. And then the slow burn of Veronica Falcone as Camila, his mother, was also incredible. She did a wonderful job starting out as this innocent, supportive sister and mother. Even though I could see through her, I think she did a good job with the performance, and eventually becoming the new drug lord. The way she broke Claire Shaw at that fundraiser was epic, and I think understandable. Ruth can't escape a mother's wrath, but she was just so direct and quick with Claire. She was like, last chance, Claire, or you're going to die a horrible death. And I could understand why Claire made the choice that she did, because Camila just would not stop. And I think she would eventually get her answer, and anyone who did not help her, although I feel the birds would be able to get out of it. I think the birds are really savvy. They're because they always have multiple contingencies. And again, I think also parents and children are a big theme on this show. Shaw having to deal with her own legacy, Camila and Javi, Ruth and her family, the birds and their children. So at the end of the day, I think the final episodes of Ozark were extremely well written. And the Bird family, particularly Marty, Wendy, and Jonah, Charlotte never got anything. But also Ruth. I think those are iconic TV characters. Although, again, what's really fascinating about this show is what makes it different from all the other shows that have been out there over the years. Since The Sopranos first popularized this anti-hero show idea, is that Marty and Wendy Bird highlight the gray area between citizen and criminal, which is also, again, why their casting is so brilliant with Jason Bateman and Laura Linney. You would never think that they would be these criminal characters. And the gray zone that they're able to expertly exploit, and that makes them perhaps even more dangerous than outright criminals. The show talks about how there are a lot of people like this in the real world, and that's why Wendy has that great final line. Is it her final line? Where Mel says, "You're not going to get away with this," and she's like, "Since when?" And I thought that was very true. That was true. So what did you think of the final? And that's because someone always makes somebody an offer. And if they find someone they can't make an offer to bring in, they find a different way to take care of them. So, but fascinating, brilliant stuff. I mean, I want to be clear. Sometimes the Justice Department does work, but a lot of times it doesn't. So what did you think of the final episodes of Ozark? Who do you think Jonah shot? And would you want the show at some point to come back? Share those thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.